More and more medical records are going electronic, but is this a good thing or a bad thing? What do you need to be mindful of? Joining us now is Paul DeMore of DeMore Law with the answers. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Elsa. It's great to be here.
We always like having you here. So these medical records, back in the day, it was all pen to paper, and now obviously we've come a long way. It's all electronic. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's meant to be a good thing. It's meant to, in fact, the federal government has incentivized major healthcare providers and even right down to the small doctors to go to the electronic system, basically because of the ease of information sharing. So the goal is to provide higher quality medical care through accurate information sharing. Like anything else, it has some problems that are still being worked out.
And you've noticed some from some of your clients, correct?
I have, and over the years, we've looked at a number of different cases. You know, there's one of the major problems is the cutting and pasting feature.
Tell me about that.
Well, you know, if I was taking a patient history from you, if I was your doctor, you would tell me what's wrong with you, I would write it down.
Yep.
It would get written down one time, and each time I interviewed you, I'd make a new note.
Right.
Now it's easier just to cut and paste the problem.
Got it.
Right? So I'm taking a major portion of your medical history and I'm inserting it into all the different places in the electronic medical record that people need to see it.
And if you place that in the wrong place,
if I place it in the wrong place, we're making decisions off the wrong information.
Yikes.
Or if I don't update the information, we're making decisions off the wrong information.
Right. So I broke my leg once, I didn't break it 72 times.
or you never got better from the first time and we haven't figured that out yet.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. So you said you had a case recently in which something like this with medical records really
We just finished up a case where it was a different problem. So like anything else, when you have a new method of doing something, you have to teach the people who have been doing it the old way, the new way.
Right.
So let me give you an example. We just finished a case. It was a pediatric case. I'm going to have them put the slide up here, and I'm going to show you a very common medical record that would be in any pediatrician's chart.
Okay.
So this is a growth chart. And you would find this if you went in your children and you opened up their charts, you would see these in their chart, in their paper charts.
I've got a 4-year-old. I've seen that before.
And what the pediatrician and the healthcare providers are tracking here is growth trends.
Yes.
And the dots on the top, where the red marks are actually the growth of the child's head. As the child's head grows, we're tracking it. The doctors are tracking it. The reason for that is there's certain medical conditions, very serious medical conditions, that will present themselves if this growth accelerates too quickly.
Okay.
And what we see here is that this child's growth has gone off the chart.
Yes.
You see that?
I do see
the
that.
dots rise above.
Yeah.
Now, this should have alerted a pediatrician to a very serious problem that could easily be treated.
Okay.
Let me show you now the next slide.
All right.
This is the way electronic medical records presented this same information. Did you see how easy it was to see the child's growth go off the chart?
Yeah, because you could see it on the graph. I can't tell anything from that.
So doctors have to learn how to look at the information differently to retrain your brain.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the next slide.
So is that information here? It is here, but
that information is there. The difference is you're not seeing it in one place, and you're not seeing it in what we call a comparative illustration.
Right.
You're actually your brain is actually having to put together all of the information.
Wow.
And now let's compare it. Let's go to the next slide and compare it to what it would look like in a paper chart without any of the red.
Got it.
Again, not hard to tell there's a problem here.
Absolutely. I'm no doctor, and I can see that.
Right. But it got missed in this case.
Oh.
Because of that retraining issue.
So if someone notices something like this, what are the next steps? I know we're wrapping up here, but they would what? They would come to you with their medical records? They would call you?
Generally, what will happen in our line of work is what we call a bad result. Someone will come to us and say, I've had a very bad medical result. There's been an unintended consequence of some treatment that I had or didn't get. And we would then have to investigate that and find out, was this avoidable or not avoidable? In the particular case we just looked at, we determined it was utterly avoidable. Should not have happened, but for this lack of information comprehension.
So if someone is watching right now and they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
You can call us at 410-324-2000, or you can look us up on the internet at DeMoreInjuryLaw.com.
Wonderful. We love having you here, and we'll see you again next week. And we will be right back with more Midday Maryland right after the break.